Yes, hello, fellow traders. This is Ghost Trader, aka Tank from the Matrix, coming at you again with another daily market breakdown for today, which is Wednesday, September the 7th. So, yes, today was not too nothing too crazy of a day in the market today. It was generally an inside day, as you can see. The pretty with a pretty narrow range and pretty light volume overall. I would not call this a premium session. There was some limited moves in a couple individual names, but across the board, no, this was not a premium session. We didn't see any very large, big sustained macro moves in the market that would bring in a lot of good price action to to a large number of names. Most of the names were just very choppy. It stayed in a tight range without offering any large sustained moves. And as you can see, just going over the overall macro picture, the market is in a slight downtrend trajectory right now. Ever since mid-August, when it did bounce or got rejected on the 200-day moving average right here, and we've kind of been rejecting it in a slight sell-off ever since. Overall, I mean, if you want to, I don't really go to the big picture very much. If you want to look at the big picture overall in the year, obviously, or even go to the 5 year. If you want to look at the big picture here, ever since the COVID hit right here back in 2020, and we had the big sharp sell off. We did have a real big rebound um, overall in the market, and we had a strong market ever since then until obviously around the beginning of this year. When the Ukraine war started, or the war in Europe area started, and that's kind of what in the beginning of this year we've kind of had a plateau, and then start a kind of a sell-off move in the markets overall. So basically, and keep in mind, even if you look at the sell-off move on the big picture, we're still in a pretty bullish market. Like this sell-off move, when a market's this strong, it does need to rest a little bit. It needs to pull back a little bit and find some support before it can continue higher. It doesn't just keep going up in a linear fashion forever. This is ridiculous, to be honest with you. So this is not anything out of the ordinary. I don't think it's anything to be too alarmed about. If it loses these significant support levels, then we can start to be a little bit more alarmed. But no, there's still some significant support levels here. On the If you look at the macro chart, the weekly chart, and the larger daily chart for a couple years in the past. But if you just look at this year, I'm getting way too long for this video already. But if you just look at this year, like I said, we've topped out here around the 480 area on the SPY. And we've been kind of selling off ever since. Not anything drastic though, more just like there's been much less volume. As you can see, the volume picked up much more on the initial spike, and we had a little bit of volume at the beginning of the year, but it's pretty for the past few months. It's been a relatively light volume. So this is not any panic action. I don't see any panic in this chart. It's kind of just a kind of a weaker market. You could say it's a bearish market because it is slightly in a sell-off trajectory, but it's mainly just kind of in a range, kind of on a weak, but kind of in a range. And like I said, in the more short term, we actually around the beginning of the summer, around June, we actually, like I said, we found some support here around 360, 365 area. Bounced off it twice and actually had a pretty strong push in the markets for a good couple months throughout June, all the way out till pretty much through the whole summer. I don't know if the summer picked up some more economic action or some tourism or whatever. I don't know, but the market did do pretty well through the summer until, like I said, getting more back into the more micro, more recent times now. Back in actually on the 16th of August, it did bounce off the 200-day moving average, which is this line of very important moving average, and it's been selling off ever since for the past couple weeks. So that's pretty much where we are now. If you want to look at the intraday chart on the SPY, the 1 minute chart, today we had a slightly green day today, but like I said, it wasn't a very this is a pretty relatively small day, only a couple dollars in action, went from 91 to like 94, $3 in action. It's not a huge day. There's been days in the past couple weeks where the SPY has moved $10 or more in a day, and $3 is not a huge day. Like I said, not a huge volume. We did have a red day yesterday. Again, not a huge day either. But after the sell-off yesterday, it gapped. Actually, no, it didn't really gap. It started to gap up, but it pretty much opened up right where it closed. So there was really no gap. And it's a little bit of a bounce day. We'll see how well that holds, but like I said, it's just some small green inside it, nothing really to speak of. So overall, in the what I was watching today, let's see, what was I watching? I didn't really see any. Like I said, the market was really overall. It's been oversold for the past at least the past since the 26th. Like, look, it's been oversold since the 420 area, and it's been selling all the way since 420 without any real significant bounce. So if this is the SPY, other beta names that have even higher beta are going to be even more oversold. Let's just bring up like something like an AMD, right? Look how oversold AMD is. It's been going all the way from 87, 97, all the way down to like almost $20 without any real significant bounce. And we could keep going. Like Nvidia is the same way. Nvidia did have some news, so it's a little different. It has they have some sanctions or unable to sell products in China. But they're all the beta names are going to be extremely oversold. So basically, same thing yesterday, same thing as today. I mean, I would rather to see more longer setups in the market because, as the more a name gets oversold, the more of a potential bounce it has. Unfortunately, I just didn't really see any long setups in the market. All like for instance, all the long setups. For instance, like let's just look at Apple for instance. It's not a long. That's not a good one. Let's look at Amazon for instance. Yeah, this is a good example. See, like the next long pivot level on Amazon is up here by 132 area, around 132, 131, 132 area. It's been rejected multiple times. But in order to see it in this type of line, but in order to get to that pivot level, look at all this congestion and traffic on the chart. That's just the hourly chart. Look at the daily chart. Look at all this congestion. It would have to get through all these these are all moving averages, linear regression lines, Bollinger Bands, pretty much. So, and that's pretty much. I'm not going to go through all of them, but most all the beta names look like this. I want to get to some longer setups, but it's gonna have to. We're gonna have to do some work before we can get into any clear chart, clear view to the long side. So with that being said, the only setups that I was really pretty primarily watching today was AMD, BABA, and letter U. Like I say, the reasons why I was watching those is because they were all short setups, but they did potentially, especially maybe BABA especially, wasn't that oversold. If you look at BABA, right? Of course they're oversold, but it's been bouncing a little bit. It had some green here, and this is a pretty well established pivot. So I was watching things like that. I was watching things like letter U, for similar pivot, similar reason. This one's not as good of a setup. I never traded this one, but and then my main watch was AMD as well. Hey, like I said, AMD is oversold, but it did have this pivot level, and it was getting on the open. It was getting ready to break. So it was testing it. So I wasn't really too excited about the day. I didn't really believe it or anticipate that it was going to be a premium session. But like I said, those were my two watches: AMD, BABA. My main watch is AMD, BABA, and letter U. So yeah, basically, long story short, in the first few minutes of the day, or the first like 30 minutes of the day, none of them broke. AMD it tried to break a couple times, it never did. Letter U it never really broke. It broke once, but never gave second entry, and BABA never broke the pivot. So as you can see, like the market actually started going long at the open. So none of my short setups were working, for good reason. Like I said, the market's already pretty oversold. Even if the short setups did work, it wouldn't be the greatest setups because it's already too oversold. So yeah, didn't really see any long setups. I already said too much supply zones on the pivot. Supply zones to have to eat through before we get to the pivot. Everything went long at the open, away from my short pivots. Yes. However, this is the first trade of the day. I was watching Tesla for a sneaky pivot. And this is the main thing I wanted to talk to you. I'll explain to you guys what a sneaky pivot is. I learned this from my coach Dan Shapiro as well. One of the greatest traders of Tesla that I've ever dealt with. He's made a lot of money trading Tesla, so I learned this from him. But before I get into that, I'll just go over the other thing I saw in SPY as well was just some general some weird SPY. So I saw some volume coming in already. It's getting past my threshold, holding up. So I'm like, this is some decent volume coming into the market. And then it was going along, but then the volume died out quickly by about the first 15 minutes. It got really low volume, and then I started seeing some spiky action. So like it was going along, but it would come down and spike below VWAP, come back up, spike below VWAP, come back up drastically. And there was some volume spikes here too. So it's just this is kind of a red flag to me. It's just kind of spiky, choppy action, not really picking any definitive direction. And some people have gotten faked. People are trading the E-mini futures, the E-mini, the SPY options. I guarantee you some people have been faked out here with some of these spikes in this action here. Hopefully not, but they're just inevitably. So that's kind of a red flag for me. With that being said, I was watching this area on Tesla. So let me go ahead and Tesla was my first trade of the day, actually. Let me go ahead and bring this up on Tesla so I can show you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this for now. So look, if you look at Tesla, this is the Tesla 1 hour chart, 1 hour chart on Tesla. And if you look, we'll make this right here. This is before the market opened. It's not here. This is before the market opened. So we didn't see any, we didn't know what was going to happen until the market opened, right? This was pre-market. This is what I was watching in pre-market. So if you look at the hour chart, what we're looking for is similar. Like I said, on the daily chart, we're looking for areas where there's been multiple rejections or multiple bounces on the daily chart. That's where we're looking for pivot levels. On names like there's Tesla specific, I also do this on Nvidia as well, but a couple other high volume, high flying blue chip names in the stock market, it actually works as well on the hourly chart as well. And I call these sneaky pivots. So if you look at the hourly chart, like for instance, look at this level, right? This level, it was a high right here, but it never tested that level again. So that's just a high. That's not a pivot. A pivot needs to have multiple tests. Let's look at this low. This is a pivot level. This is actually on the daily chart because these are both daily levels. That's why it's blue like that. But yeah, so you see it tested it once here, tested it again here. Those are both on both of those days. So that's a pivot level. Okay, now you can see why. This was a pivot level. Was a pivot level here, but it was wrong. Anyways, long story short. But as you can see here, what I was watching, I noticed something here. I noticed that Tesla on pre-market of on Tuesday morning pre-market, it tested this level 276 area and rejected it. Okay, didn't it? Then, sorry, let me do that. Exactly. Let me see. So it tested this 276 level and rejected it. Then during the day on Tuesday, it tested that level again, rejected it twice. So now we have 3 rejections. Sorry, and I revealed what happened already. But now we have 3 rejections on the chart here, don't we? 1, 2, 3. And I'm watching that. So basically what happened was I put a line and I watched that pre-market. You see, that's my line. I didn't just put that now. That was already there. You understand? So that's what I watched. I watched that. This is a sneaky pivot. That's why it's a different color. It's not, my real pivots are daily pivots. Main pivots are blue. I made this a little, sometimes I'll make a more thin. I'll make the line thinner or make it a different color if it's a sneaky pivot. Because I don't treat these the same as daily pivots. It's a sneaky pivot. But the thing about a name like Tesla specifically, the thing about Tesla is when you have these main macro daily pivots that everybody's watching, it does more times than not, it's going to do some type of fake out at that level. These sneaky pivots sometimes tend to work better because not as many eyeballs are watching them. The market makers have less of an interest, in investing a lot of capital into doing fake out, especially on such a high volume name like Tesla. It's very expensive to make Tesla move. It's very expensive to do, to manipulate Tesla's price, and although it can be very profitable for them, they're not going to even attempt such a thing when there's less eyeballs. They're going to do it on the big macro times when levels get crossed. Anyways, so to make long story short, I learned from my coach, these sneaky pivots can work very well, as you can see. So basically, long story short, what happened during the day was around I was watching Tesla. Let's put it up here. I wasn't really watching it. It's like I said, it wasn't even on my list, but I had an alert in on the sneaky pivot is what I had. So basically, if you look at I had this pivot in, right? And it opens up. As soon as Tesla cracks this pivot, my alert goes off. I'll even show you my alert. See this alert right here? Where's it at? Those are some of my options and whatnot. But so I was trading some options today. This was yesterday. Oh, where's my alert? There you go. Tesla. Chart sneaky. See, Tesla sneaky. Chart not clean. Tesla sneaky. 276 area. It cracked up 6:35 a.m. exactly here. That was that alert. I got that alert. That's when I started watching Tesla at 6:35 or 9:35 a.m. That's a pivot. So now basically what I'm looking for it to make a new high above the pivot and then pull back. That's going to represent second entry level. So it does that here. That's when I put this level here. This is the second entry level here. Okay. Now it chops around a little bit within this level here, but it cracks a second entry right here. Okay. This is a second entry crack. This is an entry trigger. However, it's kind of a when the second entry is this far away from the original trigger, it's kind of a risk because you could risk off this level and stop out if it gets below, but like I said, oftentimes it will. It'll chop around this level and stop. And, you're gonna be stopping out multiple times. The ultimate risk is back down here below 76. So what sometimes it'll do is it'll crack and it'll pull all the way back down and test 76. That is the best entry down there. But sometimes, as you can see, sometimes it won't do that. So there's, and even like I said, even if you're gonna stop out here, then you'll stop out right here, won't you? Stop out right here before the real move happens. So it's hard to use the second entry level as a stop. You can, it gets a little tricky. The ultimate risk is down here. So if you really want to get in here, you could use break even stop, or you could use a stop down here. It's up to you. But anyways, so yeah, basically yes, this is the one entry here. I guess you could have gotten in somewhere around here and using 77, but anything after this isn't. So these are entries. anything there's an entry. And once it cracks up here, now it will be a chase. It's a little bit of a chase, yes, but this full pullback, this is a nice entry. I call this the first retrace after second entry. So first entry here, this is the second entry, and this is kind of weird, but this is the first major retrace after second entry. It holds the second entry level. That's an entry. So you could have entered here, you could have entered here, or you could have even entered somewhere down here, depending on how you play that. But yes, these are all entries in Tesla. And as you can see from there, it proceeded to go ahead and go boop, all the way up to 280, held it. I was hoping it might even get up a little higher, but it did not. Still a solid move. $3 move right away. If you want to go from first, even like close to a $4, $5 move right away. So basically, long story short, that is same concept on the second entry, but we're just using hourly pivot levels instead of daily pivot levels. We call them sneaky pivots. All right. So how did I play Tesla today? I'll show you how I played it. All right, Tesla today. As you can see, what I did, I played this with small size. I didn't have a huge win on this. You can see sneaky pivot, but as you can see, I didn't get in right away. I was waiting for it to crack this pivot level, and I was gonna see maybe if it will pull back again. But I didn't want to miss this move, especially there was nothing else really going today. Like I said, none of my other things. And I'm looking, this is the only thing I can even have that was even anything to the long side. I was wanting something more to the long side, but everything else was too congested. So I'm like, man, if this is the only shot I had to get into something to the long side, let me smash second entry and see what happens. I can keep a tight stop. So I got in half size here. I got in half size. I left room. I got in half size. With half size, I could afford to have like a dollar stop. So what I was going to do, I was going to have half size, take a dollar stop here. Like I say you should never have a dollar stop, and I've said that. But in this situation, I was cool with that, having a dollar stop. What you could do is get in full size here and then stop out, and then look to get back in down here, risking off this. But the other way that I was going to play it, I got in half size here, and if this were to go against me, my plan was to add more down here, So I was in at like what, say 277.50. If it had smacked down to 277, 276. 277, 276 area, I would have added more at like 276.50, maybe even closer, like around 276, 77, 276.50 area. So my average would have been closer to like somewhere closer to like 277, 276.75, somewhere between 276.50 and 277. What my average would have been, and then my risk would have been 276. So I would have been risking about anywhere between 50 and maybe at max 75 cents on this max, and that's like I said, I'm not really trading huge size with Tesla. To be honest, I can't afford Tesla with big size. So, like I said, if I was trading bigger size, you can keep an even tighter risk. But I was risking about 50 cents on the trade total. On this position, I was risking $1, but I was going to add more down here and average down to the point where I'll be risking about 50 cents below, and the final risk will be 276 area. Anyways, so long story short, I'm in with half size here. It chops around. I could have added more here, but like I said, that wasn't part of the plan. I was waiting until it went down only to add more. Basically, it ends up being a really good trade. Even though I'm risking $1 here, right? I take my first profit at $2. So even off the dollar risk, it's already a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Like I said, it was more like I was really risking more like 50 cents. So a $2 profit there, that's already a $2 4-to-1 risk reward ratio. My first profit at $2, and then after that, next profit close to I had to take some off at the 80 level. And then trailing stop down here. So that's Tesla. Pretty good trade on it. I'm not mad at that today. It was only with half size, so not a huge winner, but definitely put me in the green for the day. There's that. The next thing I was watching, and I'm trying to keep this pretty short. It's already been pretty long. The next thing I was watching was AMD. AMD was just kind of annoying. And like I said, overall today, I would not call it a premium session. I would say I had a green day, but it was pretty annoying, man. Yeah, pretty annoying of a day just because the action was a little choppy. Tesla was nice, but other than that, everything was a little choppy, man. AMD had a weak move, and the other names were just choppy and never really confirmed. So let's go ahead and just check out AMD first. Let's just watch the AMD trade. I'm not going to get into the pivot levels and everything, but just rest assured, suffice to say that this level was a pivot level on the chart. But like I said, AMD already was pretty oversold already. You hear me? So yes, it was my main watch of the day, and it had the highest. Let me see, as you can see, it had the highest volume of the day out of any beta name. Probably maybe the highest volume of the day of any name on the entire stock market. If not, definitely one of the top 5 to 10 of the entire stock market. 40 million shares traded today. Gonna probably be closer to 50 or 60 by the end of the day. Huge volume. So I definitely wanted to watch it. If this thing can sell off, even though it's oversold, it's sold off. It's continued to sell off before while being oversold. If it's gonna run that type of volume, and it's going to crack pivot levels to the short side, I'm at least going to be there for it and possibly give it a shot. So I wanted to see. I was watching it below 87.40 area. It didn't crack. I was waiting. The market went along. So I was like, man. So that's when I was focusing on Tesla. But finally, it did start to crack, and the market started, like as you can see, around It's a little. I'm like, why couldn't you have done this earlier? If you had done this a little earlier, the move would have been better. So I was thinking, it's like annoying. But as you can see, around 7, the market started to get a little bit of weakness to it. So that's what brought this weakness into AMD. And the cracked the pivot at 7 o'clock exactly. First entry. So it cracked, and then I was waiting for it to make a significant bounce, which it did. So that signifies first entry. This signals. I'll just say this signals or signal. That's the word I'm looking for. This signifies the second entry level, as we know if you've been watching my videos, or if you follow Dan Shapiro, or if you trade these beta names pivots with the Dan system. So basically, because this is more Dan's system, but just the way I play it with the retraces is Dan doesn't do that. Dan just slams the second entry with his 10,000 share position, and he'll push the entire bid down and make the market move. I can't do that, bro. So I got to get in on retraces and be a little bit more precise. Anyways, we're not going to get into it. But so yes, it chopped around, and once it made this significant bounce, that's how I know this is really a second entry level. So it may never crack. Like I said, on letter U, it did that, and it never did crack again. Never second entry. But if it does crack, it's gonna have some type of reaction. That's almost a guarantee. So, and the other good thing about this is it's only 15-cent difference. So even if you did slam the second entry here, second entry was like 78.25. But the original pivot was only 78.40. So it's only a 15-cent difference. Even if you slam the second entry here at 78.25, you'd only have to be risking 15 cents. You could stop out right away above 40 and be done with it. 15-cent risk. And keep in mind, AMD on the chart, this thing had some decent room. It has some decent room. So below the pivot, it had room at that time, it had room all the way down to 77.60s area. It had a Bollinger Band and a linear regression at 77.60s. And on the daily chart, it had nothing all the way down to 77 area. You see what I'm saying? So it had at least down to 77.60, 77.50 area. And if it gets through that, it could get all the way down to 77 and lower, all the way down to 75, possibly. So I felt like this thing had some room, although it was already oversold on the day that you can see. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10 red days in a row without a green day. So that's oversold. I understand that. That might have contributed to why this move wasn't the greatest move. It kind of got on my nerves, but basically, so when I was looking for this to crack, and if I was going to get in around 25 on the second entry, I was looking forward to at least get down. Keep in mind, this was earlier. I was looking forward to at least get down and test the 77.70s, the 77.75 area. I wasn't even going to try to have it get down to the 50s. I was going to want to take my first profit around 77.75 area. Okay. I was like, come on, can you at least do that? Unfortunately, no. The answer is no. Annoying as hell. But anyways, so yes, it cracked. Second entry crack here. What I did, let me see. How do I trade? I traded. The thing about it is, I traded AMD with regular shares and with puts. The puts I got screwed on. Yeah, see, I slammed second entry and then I slammed retrace too. But the puts I got screwed on. I slammed second entry on the puts. I did the same thing with the puts. I slammed second entry here with 2/3 of my position, and then on this retrace, I added the other third of my position. So now I'm at full size here. And I'm looking forward to test the 770s. I had a limit order here to get out of the puts. It missed my order by like 3 cents. It tested 80, but it wouldn't get to the 70s. I'm like, are you serious? This AMD, dude. AMD, the 40 million share trader. You can't make more than a 30, 40 cent move on a macro pivot break. You can't make a 50-cent move, AMD. I'm looking for 50 cents, and there's room on the chart. Yes, there is room on the chart. Yes, there is. There's room down to the 60. I needed it to get from 25 to 75. I needed it to get to 75, man. If this thing had tested 75 right here, I would have taken profit, dude. But it won't get below 80. It's like, really, you can't just get to 75? A little bit lower. And of course, it does it right here. If it had just done this earlier, I would have been good. I would have had a real good day on the put options. But instead, I should have taken profit. That's the lesson of the day. You got to take profit off the table, especially on things like this. This is AMD. But keep in mind, like, I just got to know this thing about it. This thing had look. What's the AT? Look at this. It's moved from about, let's say, 79.50 area to 77.50 area. That's only $2, dude. Do you know what the ATR on AMD is? I'll show you right now. Even $4, dude. I looked at this already. $4, bro. ATR on AMD, bro. 417. And this thing is gonna move like not even $3 in a day, not even $2. It's gonna move $2 in half of the ATR, and then it can't sell. I just needed 10 more cents. 10 more freaking cents, man. You didn't even go through half your ATR in the day. I know it's too oversold. I get it. Anyways, now that so I vented. I had to vent a little bit, man, because I'm not even gonna show you all the put options because I lost. I wasn't able to get out break even. I lost a little bit on the put options when I had two perfect entries. Still lost because this thing couldn't get down past 80. This thing I got past 80, my limit order would have gotten a hit on 2/3 of my position. I would have been bam instantly. But nope. I should have just marketed out or slammed out. But it's like you got to let your winners run. But I guess you know what I'm saying with AMD, dude, you cannot count on more than like a 35-40 cent move sometimes. Like you got to take profit at like 35 cents on AMD. It's crazy, man. But anyways, and I guess if it's oversold. But yes, what I did, like I said, I played it on the and like I said, that's what happened with AMD. How I played it on I made some good money with the common shares, so I slammed it here. Like I said, I didn't want to take profits so early. I wanted to get to the 70s. That's why you don't see me getting out here. And I know when it retraces, I know this is a second entry. This is a first retrace. So this was actually the best entry. This is how I would normally sometimes only be getting in first here. But like I said, I wanted to. It was such a little risk, only 15 cent difference. I'm like, I'll risk the 15 cents. I'm not tripping. So then when I did, I got in an average down here too. But when I had to at least get out, I got out at 84. I ended up getting out at 84. I wanted 75, 70s. I had to get out at 84. I'm lucky I got out too. Look at this shit. I'm lucky I got out at 84. Because I remember I put a limit order at 84. I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna at least get out of something here. And then I switched over back to looking at the call options and trying to fight with the call with these these option sellers, these market makers. And I had a limit order 1, 2, 3 cents away. Oh, it never hit my limit, dude, and I ended up losing on the call options, even though I had these same entries, literally the same entries on the not the call options. I meant you know what I mean, the put options. I had the same entries on the put options, but I lost because you can only count on, and that's the thing, you can only count on like a 35 to 40 cents sometimes, 50. I only wanted a 50 cent move, but it didn't even give me that. So I'm like, dude, then I can only count on a 35-40 cent move on AMD sometimes. I gotta take profit far before 50 cents, like 35-40 cents. And on the call options, I was in the 80 the 77 puts, the 77 put options, and they only moved like barely 20 cents. Barely 20 cents on the contract. I'm like, dude, I can't take profit after like 50. I'm risking like 5-10 cents per contract. I can't take profit after 10-15 cents. I need like 20-30 cents. But it didn't even get close to no 30 cents. You got to take profit at like 20 cents. And then you're lucky if you got out. It was like, anyways, I vented too much. But yeah, man, that's AMD. I still profitable on the name. You know, I lost a couple dollars on the puts, but I made up for that with the commons. But Tesla actually made me have a pretty good day. But the way the AMD moved, man, I swear, like the ATR is $4, bro. Just annoying. Can't make a 50-cent move, really. I even wrote all this. I'm just annoying, man, on AMD. I swear it made me like, man, do I even need to be trading this? If this thing is not even gonna make a 50-cent move, do I even need to be trading it at all? Like, do I even need to be trading AMD, dude? Like, but I know it can make bigger moves. I know. And but like I said, it's so thickly traded with such volume. You know, you can risk very little. You almost never get any slippage or anything like that. Almost never, because it's so thickly traded. And like I said, when Nvidia goes, when the semiconductors go, this thing can run $2-3 or more sometimes, even while being so thickly traded. So I mean, yes, it's worth trading, but God, it was annoying today. All right, so other than that, I'm pretty much done. I always go over my limit on these. I was trying to make this video short too. Shit, that didn't work. You know how I am. But man, just put this to full screen. That's annoying. All right, so a couple other names, my other names I was watching, and we'll go over some earnings names too, just real quick. I mean, you can go over the betas yourself, but what I was watching, I was with AMD, Tesla. Tesla had a pretty decent day, but like I said, then after the move, it pretty much just chopped around. Bob, I was watching Bob, like I said, it never did crack below the pivot that I was watching, never cracked, and then it just chopped around, like, lost volume quickly. Same thing with it cracked once, but never made second entry, and I probably couldn't even trade this. It's running less than 25,000 per minute volume. This is basically trading on, it's too thin, trading on air, too thin. mRNA, I was watching that too. mRNA, not that oversold actually, pretty more of a decent setup. But there was a pivot level down here. It cracked pre-market a couple times, but like I said, never cracked again. Just everything's going long, and it has a lot of resistance, a lot of supply zone to work through before we can get into any clear sailing to the long side. This was a little sneaky move on Tesla, and even for Tesla, this is not a great move. Barely even $5 move. This is not a great move for Tesla. That's why there's no way I can classify this as this wasn't even a premium session, semi-premium session. This was not at all a premium, not semi-premium, not premium, nothing. This was just a slow day. That's it. So yeah, other than that, most of the beta names are the same. They, a little bit of a push, but then they chopped around. Apple chopped around. Sold off, chopped around. Nvidia chopped around. Yeah, 4 cent, 4 cent dividends. So it must be nice. Hold Nvidia for your 4 cents, or you can make 11, like 15% gain in 5 minutes on the call options. Up to you. Anyways, doesn't matter. And Amazon, pretty strong actually, but like I said, they're shopping around. It's a small range. Nothing's moving very much. Google, as you can see. The earnings names. This is the last thing. Earnings names, and then final thought. Earnings names. Not much on earnings today. A couple things, and after market last night. Neo was the one I actually tried. I actually was gonna take a shot on this. If I was gonna trade this, I was gonna use the 5 minute opening range, which was this line right here. It cracked, and then this would have been like, anyways, it didn't really make a great move. Didn't really the setup that I was looking for. It panned out a little, but not really. I might have. I'm glad I didn't trade it. And that was the highest volume earnings name. Also, this path had earnings. Went from 13 to 1350. Great, thanks a lot. All day, took all day too on low volume. On pretty high volume, but Coupa had earnings. So I was watching this over, like I said, 5 minute opening range. If this thing was going to crack over 66, I was thinking possibly to get in, but it was thin, not kind of thick. But anyways, it traded in a range basically. ASO had earnings as well. I should be doing this on the bigger screen, huh? My bad, guys, for that. But yeah, ASO had earnings as well. Kind of strong, but like I said, very thinly traded. 20,000 per minute. Thin. I don't even know what this is. GTLB. Yeah, these are just some other names that had earnings. If you guys want to look, KeyBank, I think this is. No, this isn't Key. What is this? Corn. Oh, I said it's Key. KFY. Anyway, I don't know what the hell. I have no idea what the hell these companies are. But I would never trade any of this stuff. But yeah, there's some earnings names for you. Other than that, that's it, man. So my final thought of the day is, first of all, you can't be coming into the market too biased. Like on a day like today, I had no idea which way the market was gonna go. Like I said, I was kind of hoping that it would maybe go long because, like I said, we're just so oversold. We're due for a bounce on the overall market and on especially with some of these individual names. So I was hoping that we would go long. But like the fact was, even going on, like I said, there wasn't really very many long setups. So everything was too much congestion on the chart. I was able to find a little bit of premium in Tesla, but not a great move. But like I said, the market could very well have gone short too, and I would have been ready for that as well. I mean, it's been going short every other day pretty much for the past few weeks. So that's why I was watching some short setups, AMD, letter U, and BABA. And I actually did I did make some money on AMD to the short side on the common shares. I did in a decent trade. I mean, I got about 40 cents per share on it, but not a bad trade. So I made some money on the short side and on the long side today. I just traded both ways today, Tesla and AMD. So that's why I did it. You got to come to the market not being biased. Professional traders are not biased. They let the market dictate to them. They don't trade on opinions. They don't trade on hunches or they go by market triggers and go by proven trading, statistical trading systems and their experience. And they let the market dictate to them. Then they make their trades accordingly. You know what I'm saying? They make their own trade plans and execute their trade plans, but they don't make the trade plans until the trade plans are completely and 100% based on market action and price action and volume action. It's not based on their opinions or hunches. Nothing. They'll have a trend through it. If the market goes in my favor, I'll do this. If the market goes against me, I'll do this. They'll have a plan either way. So that's part of not being biased. The other thing is, the main lesson is for me, you have to take. I'll even show you guys. I put it up here above this. Look what I wrote. Need to take profits sooner on these BS names. I got mad at AMD, bro. I was gonna have a nice trade on the put options. I was gonna have a nice day, but I lost. Like it's one thing if you have a losing trade, you stop out, whatever. But if you have a winning trade that you waited for, you plotted on it, you got two perfect entries. They tried to fake out. No, I smelled both fake outs, two perfect entries, and I still lose on the trade. That's what gets under my skin. So the lesson for that is, dude, you can never count on sustained moves, especially in kind of, this is still summertime. Well, it's past summer now, but, the past few months have been summertime. A slow market, conflict in Europe, a slow market, not a high volume market, not a strong market. It's a slightly downtrend, bearish market. You cannot count on sustained moves either way, to the short side or the long side, especially on, I should have known on AMD. It was already oversold, but even on Tesla. Like Tesla, Tesla can run like $20, $30 in a day. Even after the split, it can run $10 a day. It barely even got $4 today. Now, there was no sustained moves at all today. You can't count on that. So if you have profit on the table, you got to take it off, man. You got to take the profit off the table. Yes, you do want to let your winners run. You want to leave a runner. But like I'm starting to think more and more like as traders, we don't make our living off of those runners, dude. We make our living we make our living getting good entries, good exits. Being patient, only striking when the iron's hot, only striking when the odds are in our favor on premium setups, and then taking profit off the table, bro. We only get paid when we take profit. We don't get paid on unrealized profit. You hear me? On unrealized gains. That unrealized shit is, I'm saying? It's for the birds. The unrealized nonsense for the fucking birds, bro. Anyways, I'm getting too much now, long winded. But yeah, I appreciate the time. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. That was hopefully how long was this? I can't time myself. Hopefully it wasn't more than 20 minutes. I'm hoping it probably was. But anyways, this is Ghost Trader signing off. And I'm doing pretty good. I did yesterday and today, so I'm hopefully let's see. I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we can bang out one every day this week. Best of luck to everybody, and we'll talk soon. Signing off now.